Good morning, YouTube. Welcome back to my channel. I'm Angie. I've been wanting to do this video for such a long time, but things have gotten in the way. We're currently in the process of moving, so that's one of the reasons what delayed. But I wanted to make this video, and I figured now or never. So this video, I created a summer reading challenge for myself. I thought it'd be something fun to do now that we're officially in summer. Now I did look up, summer reading challenges online, looking at the different prompts, and I picked out a total of 12 prompts for myself. First I wrote them in my notebook, which, yeah, looks all messy there. And then I made this beautiful summer challenge chart. We're not going to look at the bottom here where the word completed got smudged on accident there. We'll just bypass that. So I figured I'll read you each prompt that I chose, and for each prompt I will show you which book I chose for each prompt. Yes, I'm still in my PJs. It is currently 6 in the morning where I live. I did not want to put my glasses on. I didn't feel like it. So some of the books I have physically to show you. Some of them I'll have to show you on my tablet that's next to me, because some of them are ebooks or they are physical books, but I don't have access to them right now due to the process of packing things up, if you will. So the first prompt on my summer reading challenge poster here is: read a book adapted to film or TV. So the book that I've picked, and I've already started reading it, I am currently on chapter 7 of it, is The Shack. Now there was a couple of reasons why I picked this one. One, obviously they made a movie from it, which I own and I enjoyed it. And this is actually a reread. I've read this once before. The other reason why I picked it is because this author, W.M. Paul Young, had recently announced that after 20 years of this book being released, he will be releasing the sequel to this book in October of this year, called Return to the Shack. And I'm really excited for that one to be coming out. And the author and the publisher were so gracious in sending me an ebook ARC copy of it, which I'm really excited. And so that's why I picked this book to go ahead and reread it, to refresh my mind for it. And then I go into Return to the Shack. So I'm really excited for that. For those of you who don't know about this book, it is a Christian book. It is about a man who knows of God, but doesn't really have an actual relationship with God. He still has questions about God until this one particular event happens in his life that he calls it the Great Sadness, that ends up having him have a face-to-face meeting with God, the Son, and the Holy Spirit. And it's basically his time with them and building his relationship with God. And I absolutely love this book. I love the movie. There is a lot of differences between the book and the movie, which usually happens anyway. So I highly recommend you read the book first and then watch the movie. But yeah, this is a really good book. I really like it. The second prompt is read a book by a black author. Now, I picked this tab because there's one particular author that I've been hearing for. Sorry, that's our clock. There's one particular author that I've heard her name floating around a lot with a ton of good reviews from multiple YouTubers, and I figured that would be a perfect book for this prompt, and that is Before I Let Go by Kennedy Ryan. I've heard a lot about her writing, that a lot of people really enjoy her writing, especially with this series here. This is the first book of one of her series here, and I figured, why not? It sounds interesting. One group of YouTubers that rave about Kennedy Ryan is Mom and Shar. I love watching their videos. So I can't wait to read that one. The next prompt is read a book with a blue cover. I have a lot of books with a blue cover, but I figured this particular book would be perfect. I read it before, and I don't know, like the cover screams to me summer, maybe some spring. But I've read this book before, and it has a lot of humor in it, and you need a good laugh or two for the summer. And that's Instructions for Dancing. And yes, this is a signed copy. A funny story about this book, I happened to be at Walmart with my husband. We were doing food shopping, and we decided to go to the electronics section where they had the books there. And this was the last copy on the shelf of this particular book. I didn't even notice the sticker there until I picked it up, and my husband's like, "Oh, what's that sticker?" And I saw that, I was like, no. When I opened the book, it's her actual signature, not a print. And my husband's like, "You gotta get this for your collection." And you best believe we did. I ate this book up. I loved it so much that my best friend ended up getting herself a copy of this book. Has she read it yet? I don't know. I haven't asked her. But it is by Nicola Yoon. And it is about a young girl, if I can remember, Evie Thomas. She doesn't believe in love anymore because her parents had a pretty nasty divorce, and she feels like marriages only end in divorce. There's no point of, falling in love. So she comes across this dance studio where she meets this boy, and she decides to have some dance classes in the studio, and ends up partnering up with said boy. And she soon realizes all her thoughts on love were completely wrong, but in a funny kind of way. So again, I highly recommend this book if you haven't read it yet. If you like humor, a fun, fast moving paced book, definitely get this one. And it's very small, so it's a quick read. The fourth prompt is read a banned book. There are so many banned books that have been banned for no reason at all. Like, it doesn't make sense why they've been banned. So the book that I chose, which I actually own it, funny enough. I read it back in high school, and I liked it, and then I think I happened to be at a Goodwill or like a thrift store, and they had it there, and I was like, for nostalgia purposes, I grabbed it. And that is Of Mice and Men. Very tiny little book. But I liked it. And it is about two brothers where one of them is mentally delayed and I don't remember what year it was. But it's basically a story about the two of them basically surviving together because they're all by themselves. Um, and basically, it's their story of trying to own some land and build a shack for themselves. And from what I remember, it was a nice, cute little story about the two of them. There is some thriller aspects in it, but all in all, I had really enjoyed it, and I figured it's a nice little short read to add to this challenge. The next prompt is a mystery or thriller. Now, the one that I chose for this prompt, I don't currently own a copy, but it is available on Kindle Unlimited, which is where I've got that. If my tablet wouldn't cooperate. And I chose Ward D by Frida McFadden. Now, I've read several of her books, and I've loved every single one of them. Well, there might have been one that I was left kind of confused on the ending, but all the others I really enjoyed. And this particular one of her books, I hear a lot of people raving about it and talking about it. I'm part of several thriller Facebook pages and psychological Facebook pages. I'm also part of a Frida McFadden group page, and I've seen this book recommended to people all the time out of all her books, and so I figured it's finally time to read that one. So I don't know anything about it. Other than that, it's a good book and it deals with a psych ward in a mental hospital, I believe. Yeah, that's all I got. The next prompt is a book that came out the year you were born. This is actually going to shout out my age. I was born in 1990. So the best book to pick that came out in 1990, I'm not going to even say the name, I'm just going to show you the picture. Because, in my opinion, this is the best book to choose for the year that I came out. Am I right or am I right? I have been wanting to read this book for a long while. I've watched the movie, I own the movie, and I just never got around to reading the book. And I've been wanting to read the book. I do own a physical copy. I just don't have access to it. This is available on Libby, so I will be getting it from there to read it on my Kindle. Just easier that way. But yeah, and if you have no idea what Jurassic Park is, which I would honestly be surprised because this was a popular book, and it's still considered a popular book. It is about a man, John Hammond, who created a park full of dinosaurs that his science lab recreated with leftover DNA that they found, and they named it Jurassic Park. He invites a total of 5 different people, I believe, to the park. There's 2 archaeologists, Alan and Sarah, I believe is her name. There's I can't remember what he is. He's part of like an insurance thing that.
I'm a diner. Finish the video.
My husband just jump scared me. Whether he approves the park or not. There's another scientist guy there. Anyway, he invites them all to the park to see if the park is worth opening to the public. And obviously, while they're there, all butts break loose, and it's just a fun, holy crap ride, pretty much. So that's that book there. The next book prompt is a book from your childhood. I have several, but that particular prompt, I have not picked one as of yet. And I figured I'd still have time. I do have a whole stash of my children's books, so I'll just have to pick one from there. I realized I forgot to pick one before I made this video, so I apologize for that. I'm trying to look at some of the pile of books that I have on one side from packing. I'll have to pick one later. There's just so many from my childhood. Actually, I could pick Captain Underpants. It's a fun little book. I've read the whole series in like middle school. I'll see if I can find the picture of the first book. It's been years. And if I remember correctly, because it's been years, about 2 kids in school, like elementary level school, and they make these doodles and they create a doodle of a superhero that they call Captain Underpants, who mysteriously becomes alive, and he's like the worst superhero ever in a funny way. And that's the first book right there.
Echo. Stop.
The next book, a book that takes place in the same state you live in. That would have to be, let me pull it up here. A book I've been wanting to read for a while. I've actually been wanting to get a copy of it, and I just can't find it anywhere to own it. However, I did find it available on the Libby app, so I will read it on there. And that is Last Words by Michael Corrietta. And this book takes place in a certain part of Indiana. Not exactly the part of Indiana that I'm currently in right now, but it's in the state that I live in, so it works. And this story is about a husband and wife. They go exploring in this particular cave, and for whatever reason, the husband comes out, wife does not. Husband has no idea what happened, no memory of anything that happened. Wife goes missing. A few years later, another explorer happens to be exploring the cave, and they come across human remains that are believed to be the first man's wife, and they're trying to investigate what exactly happened to her in that cave. If you haven't figured out by now, I'm a huge thriller fan. Let's see. The next book prompt is read either graphic novel, comic, or manga. I decided to do a comic, and from this giant book that I got recently, and the one comic that I chose is Monsters Inc. Because, it's Monsters Inc. We got Solo, you got Mike Wazowski, we got Boo.
Scared
me. What's not better than Monsters Inc.? No, that's that book. Wherever here goes, it is a chunker. But it's because there's several other comics, so this whole book is not Monsters Inc., so don't freak out. The next book prompt is a book from a series. Now, I picked book number 4 of the Keeper of the Lost Cities by Shannon Messenger, and I keep wanting to call it the wrong name, so I'm looking up the proper name because I don't want to butcher it on accident. On my tablet here. Oops, where are you? There you are. It is Neverseen. I'll show you the cover of it. Well, one of the cover editions. It is a middle grade series. I picked this one because that is the book I left off in the series. It's one of my favorite middle grade series. I've been wanting to finish that series because we have been waiting for the next book of the series to finally come out, but it's been delayed for several reasons that we won't get into. That's like a whole other video. But if you like adventure books and you like middle grade, that is the best series to start. Yes, the books are chunky, and they do get chunkier as you get further into the series, but it's worth it. The next prompt is read a play or a poem. I chose poem. I mean, I know there's like a whole bunch of plays, but I figured poems in a way easier. And that poem that I picked, I don't know if I can pull it up on here, but I will definitely try, is written by Edgar Allan Poe. And if you haven't figured it out just by that name, it is The Raven. Best poem ever to read by Edgar Allan Poe. I've read it multiple times in school, on my own. That's one cover of The Raven. My husband does have a huge book of a collection of Edgar Allan Poe poems, and I believe this poem in particular is actually in it, so I'll be able to read it from there when I get to this prompt. Anywho's, the last prompt is read a book that came out this year. That one that I chose, I did start reading it, but then I kind of put a pause on it and switched to reading The Shack, because that's when I found out that the author announced that he's making that sequel, and so I wanted to reread the first book as a refresher before I went into that sequel, now that I have that art copy. And it is called, let's see if I can find it on here. There it is. It is called The Escape Game by Marissa Mayer. Here's the cover. And I don't remember when exactly this year came out. Okay, April 7th. So a few months ago. And his book is about a group of contestants that they are part of a TV show called The Escape Team. This is season 4 of the series, where they're put in like these escape room things, and they have a certain amount of time to get out. And in this particular book, it starts out where they're in this particular escape room, and while they're trying to figure out how to escape, they come across a dead body and realize this is no longer just a TV show. And so they had to figure out, 1, how to get out of there, and 2, who's the actual killer. I love Marissa Mayer's work. I love her writing. Why can't I see her other books? Why is it not? She's known for her more popular, The Lunar Chronicles, which I think I've got all of them. or if not most of all of them. Again, I still have to go through my books once we move into the new place in a few weeks. So that's generally exciting. Anyway, those are all the prompts that I chose. And on the bottom, well, I'll show you. Right next to each prompt, I have a box so I can check them off as I complete them. And then on the bottom, I have completed by, and that's for me to write the date that I complete this whole challenge. So we'll see if I'm able to complete this by the end of summer. I hope I can. It all depends with my schedule, with work and moving, but we'll see how that goes. I'll try to make videos along the way, giving my reviews and what I've read and how far I am with this challenge. But yeah, if you want me to send you a copy of this challenge here that I made, you can go ahead and message me below, and I'll be glad to, give you a screenshot of this page here. That way you have the same prompts of what I've created here. Well, not created, but picked. And just have a great time. But yeah, so that is it on this video. Don't forget to subscribe and hit the notification bell down below so you can see more videos as I upload them. And I do ask to bear with me. I'll try to get my videos out as quick as I can. Again, I am in the middle of moving, so it might be a little bit harder to do that. But as we get much closer to moving day, I will let you guys know, because for a few days we will probably not have internet in the new place until they set up internet. So yeah, that's about it. So I'll see you guys later. Bye, guys.